Good day, my friends. My name is Pastor Carl Welliver, and I'm the founding pastor and general overseer of the Church of Faith Worldwide Ministries. And I want to welcome you to this special video today entitled, What Happened to Daniel in the Lion's Den? Now, if you've studied the Bible at any depth, I'm sure you heard the story about Daniel being tossed into the lion's den by King Darius. So I want to explain the story to you in a little more detail. You see, Daniel was a wise and faithful man who lived in the kingdom of Babylon. He loved God with all his heart and prayed to him 3 times a day. Because of his wisdom, Daniel became a trusted advisor to the Babylonian king, King Darius. But Daniel had some jealous rivals that despised him. Some of the other king's advisors were jealous of Daniel. They didn't like that the king favored him, so they came up with a plan to get rid of him. They knew that Daniel would never stop praying to God, so they convinced King Darius to make a new law. The law said that for 30 days, no one was allowed to pray to anyone except the king, and that anyone who disobeyed the law would be thrown into the lion's den, which would be a sure death sentence. Now let's look at Daniel's devotion. Even though Daniel knew about the new law, he continued to pray to God just as he always had. His faith was so strong that he chose to ignore the law and continue his prayer routine. So he opened his window, knelt down, and prayed 3 times a day, giving thanks to God. The jealous advisors saw Daniel praying and went straight to the king to report him, hoping to eliminate Daniel once and for all. Yet Daniel, being an honorable man, accepted his punishment under the law and was entered into the lion's den as King Darius had ordered. King Darius was very sad when he heard that Daniel had broken the law, and as I stated, he was very fond of Daniel and didn't want to punish him. But the law could not be changed. So Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." And a large stone was rolled over the entrance to the den, and the king sealed it with his ring. Then he went back to his palace and spent the night without eating or sleeping, worrying about Daniel. After a night in the lion's den, we see that God had a plan for Daniel for his faithful devotion. So it was a miraculous morning. Early the next morning, King Darius hurried to the lion's den and called out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to rescue you from the lions?" And Daniel answered, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O King Darius." He was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. There wasn't a single scratch on him, because he had trusted in God. God had blessed Daniel, and King Darius was very angry with the jealous advisors who had tricked him into making the new law. He ordered that they, along with their families, be thrown into the lion's den. This time, the lions were hungry, and they attacked immediately. King Darius then made a new decree. He declared that everyone in his kingdom should worship the God of Daniel. He said, "For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. His rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions." Their jealous advisors and families that had been thrown into the lion's den were punished for their wickedness, showing that God will punish those who are evil and protect those who trust in him. You see, this story about Daniel teaches us about the importance of faith, bravery, and trusting in God, even when things seemed very scary. Daniel continued to pray and believed that God would protect him, and God did. The result was that Daniel's faith inspired Darius to change the law in a whole kingdom to worship the true God. So let's look at the true story of faith. I want to thank you for joining us for this incredible story of Daniel's lions. And remember, just like Daniel, you can have the faith and trust in God no matter what challenges you face. When you believe and rely on God, he will always be with you, ready to help and protect you. This story shows that bravery, faith, and trust in God can bring about amazing protection and justice. Always remember that God is with you, just as he was with Daniel in the lion's den. If you found this story inspirational, why not subscribe? It doesn't cost you anything more than a moment of your time, and it helps us dramatically with the channel algorithms. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now. What happened to Daniel in the lion's den?